Any of the mathematics teachers who wish to share something from the explicit strategy?
May I, ma'am?
Yes, ma'am, please do.
Ma'am, my topic name is mensuration, and from that I chosen the unit as a surface area of cube and cuboid. My objective.
Your voice is breaking, ma'am.
Am I audible?
Yes.
Hello. Is it clear, ma'am?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. So I said that my topic name is mensuration, and you need I took you
Sorry,
right.
again,
My objective. Yes, ma'am.
yeah, come again, please.
Hello.
Your objective is?
Objective is to derive the formula to calculate the surface area of cube and cuboid.
Okay.
Okay. For that, explicit means methodology. What I used is learning by doing. Actually, material what I used is most of the children they will be having the geometry box along with them, right? So that is in cuboidal shape, and I'll be carrying, means teacher will be carrying one shoe box which she can open up and show the each surface. Accordingly, the children along with them, whatever the geometry box are there, they'll name the mark the surfaces as per that and calculate the area. Means they'll write the formula like one rectangle is there, then length into breadth, like that, breadth into height, and then total surface area they'll calculate. So in this, along with the teacher, students are being engaged with learning by doing methodology.
All right. What else do you think you are including?
Then after that, when they will do it, then we can go for the demonstrative method to calculate, means exactly the measurements they will calculate of their own geometry box, and they'll put it in that, and they will solve or calculate the area of geometry box.
Okay. And
Yeah.
what guided practice are you using?
The guided practices teacher will be guiding them how to take the measurements and take the which is the breadth, which is the length, which is the height of that box. So they'll calculate the area of each surface. So that is the guided practice.
All right. And what is the independent practice you plan, ma'am?
Independent practices, the after when they'll get the formula or they derive the formula, then they'll calculate the area of compass box by measuring their own measurements with a skill.
So
And we can give them some examples based on which the formula is related. Okay. As a classwork or homework. If the time period is there, then they can do in classwork, otherwise homework.
Which cross-curricular linkages are you showing, ma'am?
I did not write anything yet. I was doing that only. Still, you just told that implicit, so I was telling that one.
Okay, but what do you
Still,
think?
I have to complete it.
Okay, what would you have included in cross-curricular linkages?
Yet I have not included anything, ma'am.
But you would have thought of something.
Still, I have to. Just this lesson I started.
Okay.
I just teach till the explicit, and then I was thinking further.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, for that assessment strategy, I have decided. At the end, means assessment, what we can do is, first thing is formative assessment. Okay, sorry. For that first assessment means that warm-up activity, whichever are there, in that my first assessment will be there. That is to get the prerequisite knowledge from the children, what they know about, because in prior grade, they must have learned about this mensuration. So how much they know about it, like 2D shapes they know, means it's standard syllabus was there. So I'll throw the questions on to them, and then I'll get the prerequisite knowledge of the children about the 2D shapes, right? And then I link the this one lesson. And then formative assessment, when they were measuring the lengths, breadths, and height. So that time I can ask the questions frequently, one of the child in between that what are your measurements, and one child can come on in front and they can solve that formula, including that formula. So that one is the formative assessment. And at the end, that is the last assessment what I'll do at the end of the lesson, means that particular 40 minutes chapter, I can get the exit card, how much they understood from that derived formula and whether they are able to apply that or not.
Okay, so what I currently want is all the others who've mentioned that they are mathematics teachers. I want you to evaluate this lesson plan on mensuration that the Pali Mudaliar ma'am has created, and reflect upon it. And you can share in the chat box what worked well in this plan and why, and what did not work well and why, or what she could have done better to improve this particular skill. Apparently, what you write in the chat will only be visible to me and the hosts. It will not be visible to the others. So feel free to write all the positive and all the negative you want. You want to have some kunnas removed on her, please feel free to do that with no hard feelings, because I'm the external person reading it.
Okay.
So with no hard feelings to anybody, feel free to write what you want in the chat about the lesson plan, because you are a mathematics person. I'm a social science person, but you're a mathematics person. You know exactly what will work well in this kind of a plan. So let the chat box fill in with your inputs. Okay, Ria ma'am, your hand is raised. Which subject is that?
Ma'am, good evening, ma'am. Good evening, everyone. Ma'am, I have prepared a lesson plan on English.
Okay. So the English teachers can also gear up for the English. Yes, ma'am.
So I have prepared a lesson plan on the topic of subject-verb agreement. And this is for grade 9. So I have identified the learning objective as to identify the main rules of subject-verb agreement, and also the main purpose of learning the subject-verb agreement, which is to help in proper communication and to frame proper sentences. Also, the learning objective will be like to identify and correct any mistakes in sentences that they come across. And the materials needed are I have just made it a bit colorful. So I have written blue and green, like any color markers, basically two colored markers, pens or pencils, and notebooks. So the warm-up activity that I have written is just to ask.
Chalk and a blackboard for it. Sorry for that interruption.
We can use a blackboard, but I actually forgot to write a screen. I need a screen.
Okay, you need a screen.
Yes,
okay.
I need a screen. So I'll just write that. So the introduction and warm-up part is asking questions about the subject like what is a sentence, which they have already completed in their previous grades. What is a sentence? What are the parts of a sentence? Like, these are the common things they should be knowing before they commence their before the class commences on subject-verb agreement. What is a verb? What is a helping verb? And during all these during this warm-up activity, I'll encourage them to give their own examples, like situation-based examples. For example, they are in the class, so anything that is happening in the class or anything that is going on through their mind right now at the time of when the class is being held. So that will be the introduction or the warm-up activity. Next is the explicit instructions. The explicit during the explicit instructions, I will explain the rules, the 8 rules of subject-verb agreement, and along with, again, situation-based examples. So that will be like this part will not be very interactive because this will be only where the teacher speaks and the student listens. And students, students can take down notes also during this time. In fact, they should be taking down notes. And also, while explaining the rules, I will also discuss why the correct usage of subject-verb agreement might also sometimes sound funny, giving them examples. Because students, since I have taught this lesson in class, students come up with a lot of questions that, ma'am, this is not the correct way we use. We use is here, we use are here, normally when we are talking. So that will be discussed.
All right.
And the conclusion is a supported practice. So I have two supported practice activities. So first, I'm going to ask the students to write down 8 or 10 original sentences, like sentences on their own, which might or might not be situation based, like any sentence basically. And then I'll ask the students to exchange their notebooks with each other.
Okay.
And then just to make things a bit interesting and different, instead of correcting their own work, their peers will correct their work. And after exchanging the notebook, the students will be instructed to underline the singular subjects in blue and the plural subjects in green. And apart from this, they should also identify and correct if there is any wrong usage of the subject-verb agreement. And while they are doing this activity, the teacher will go around, making sure the activity is being done properly and, offering some guidance wherever it is required. And the second supported activity that I have planned is a kind of vocabulary game where on the screen, a number of sentences will be shown to them. At least like 15 to 20 sentences will be shown to them. And they'll get 7 minutes time to read those sentences. Now, this time of reading the sentence also depends on the level of the class that is being taught. So some classes might need 10 minutes, some classes might need 5 minutes. So after reading the sentences, the class will be divided into 2 groups. And the group which correctly identifies the correct and the incorrect sentences will be the winner. So that is how it is.
Nice ideas that you are sharing with us.
Thank you.
I am already reading a feedback on the mathematics lesson. The English people are sleeping. So the mathematics lesson has a lot of feedback in the chat. Thank you so much. 2 participants have raised hands. We may not have enough time to take in plans from everyone right now, as of now, this being a 2-hour planned session. But what you can do is, as a follow-up of this class activity, as a follow-up of this session, in your own SGIS subject departments, you can share your plans. You can speak to your colleagues in the SGIS subject departments. So you may be from different branches of SGIS, but you may definitely contact each other and share your ideas. With this, the entire SGIS family will definitely grow. And English, I find one comment as well. So I'm happy the English department has woken up. Also, before we end with today's session, I would love to thank Ma'am Sashmita Mohanty for inviting me to this platform and giving me the opportunity to be here once again. I liked the connection between English and mathematics that's being drawn up here. The English teacher could bring in 3D shapes and the prism and the pyramid in the explicit instruction and then generalized formula for TSA, LSA, and VOL. That was a...
Excuse me, ma'am. Yeah, for this, I want to tell that already the 3D shape was taken for that. That is the shoe box. That was a 3D shape only, real practical.
That is what you took to the mathematics class. Your teacher is giving a suggestion to the English class. That the English teacher could take the 3D shapes to the English class and probably then go to the subject verb agreement from there. I do not know how it will work, but probably the writer of the English feedback would probably tell us such things. Social science people are writing about the use of the atlas, the globe, etc. You can use Cetera, or you can use the Bhuvan app in social science. It will be very useful. That's what I am telling you. Harshala Rajgire ma'am has raised her hand. I will give her an opportunity to speak, not share a plan though. Sorry for that, Harshala ma'am. I will not be able to give you time to share your plan. Tell me.
Ma'am, actually, apologies for the same. I was late to submit my lesson plan. Actually, I was bifurcating the lesson plan into 4 periods. How am I going to present my topic? And it was based upon persuasion. That how come we introduce a persuasion topic? That when advertisement is presented in front of the children, how the children, they can develop their vocabulary in such a manner to grab the catchy captions and the adjectives from or through the method of persuasion. That's what I wanted to share, and it took really a long time.
All right, all right. Thank you. Thank you so much, ma'am. I can see that there is some kind of a link shared in the chat box. I think Dr. Naveen, you will have to change the chat settings to enable it to everyone. I think currently the chat settings have enabled it to myself, so you will have to change it to everyone. And feel free if you find any feedback, if you found any takeaways, especially for your classrooms, I'd love you to share them with me. Please feel free to unmute if you need to and share your particular takeaways and feedbacks from today's session. I would really appreciate hearing from you, or even if you wanted to hide it from others and write it in the chat, I would welcome that. Like I was reading English, somebody was very strategic on English. There is a French teacher here. So the French teacher, bonsoir, sir.
Bonsoir, madame.
Thank you, sir. Merci.
Merci à vous.
Raju, sir, is a very active social scientist here. Bhagya Lakshmi ji would take everyone outdoor. So please do feel free to share your feedback with me too. Social science teachers are giving teaching strategies to us. Thank you. That's why I told you Satera and Bhuvan app are very useful. Try them out. Thank you, Shilpa Bhagat, ma'am. And thank you to all those of you who are sharing feedback with me. I am deeply indebted and honored to those of you who are sharing a good feedback or a bad feedback, either ways with me. You can even use the chat with everyone option. The Marathi teachers say they can use poems and sing them out, like we've always learned, Yere Yere Pausa Tula Deto Paisa, Paisa Sala Khota, Pausala Mota. I think that is Ega Ega Sari, Maze Matke Bhari, Sir Ali Dhaun, Matke Gele Bao. That's the one poem I remember from my school.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm
And
sure
in new नवीन चालीवरती नवीन गाण्यांच्या चालीवरती पण मुलांना कविता खूप छान लक्षात राहतात.
हो.
त्या पद्धतीने आपण क्लास हे करू शकतो, एन्जॉयफुल करू शकतो.
सो तुम्ही डॉक्युमेंटरी पण बनवू शकतात असं मला चॅट बॉक्स मध्ये माहिती पडते, वाचायला होते. And thank you for the other things. Bhagyalakshmi ji, which subject do you teach, by the way? Hindi, okay. Thank you, Shobha ma'am. That was really a very wonderful feedback. And thank you, Chitra ma'am, as well. Dr. Anup and the others who are giving me valuable feedback. Thank you so much. I'm glad you are the ones who have something to take back from today's class. And do reflect upon the one strategy that I say, get back into your departments. You may belong to different boards, or you may belong to the residential and day schools, or different branches of your own school. But do get together and discuss with your colleagues. As I can see in the chat, each one of you has so many different suggestions for each other. Why keep them to yourself? Let the institution grow as well. So I'm sure Sashmita Mohanty ma'am would really have loved to be here amongst all of you into today's session. What is MPC? I don't know. I do not know MPC. Someone's given me a valuable feedback. Okay, so you probably wanted the session divided into the MPC and the language teachers. Isn't that sad? Even you have left the social sciences away. Everyone's thinking for themselves. That's really sad. I wouldn't want to do a lesson plan session with MPC and languages as separate groups of people. I would rather do it either 4 different groups as different categories of sessions where we focus only on one topic. Because in MPC, you even left out bio, which is bad. And Mr. MPC or Miss MPC, whoever you are, you've also left out the co-curricular subjects and art integration. So that does not work well for us. What works well is where we really bring in everyone. We talk about inclusive education. We do not disregard any subject. So we try and make everyone together. And in social sciences, we do say Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, not only in person, not only one world, one family, but also all subjects put together in today's session. With this concluding note and wonderful feedback from all of you, I would like to end with today's session and exit over here with your kind permission.
Ma'am, on behalf of all the SJS faculty, on behalf of Monty Madam, the Director Principal, I extend a heartfelt thank you. Lesson planning is a key and integral part of our teaching, but how much ever we learn, still it is very, very in-depth. And the way you have dealt with the session, it was very interactive, it was very comprehensive, and it was so interesting to know that you have made it hands-on. Even I tried my hand. My subject is English. Thank you so much, because how much ever we grow in experience, 15 years, 20 years, but still there is a lot of learning. We need to be prepared before we enter the class. That's what we learned today, madam. Like you mentioned, failing to plan is planning to fail. Thank you so much, ma'am. We look forward for more and more sessions from you. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am. I request everybody to fill the feedback form and the attendance sheet. Thank you, everyone. Have a great weekend. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I would like to exit the session with your kind permission.
Sure, sure. Thank you, ma'am.